my first time watching this since New Year's Day 2018. Oh shit, Annapurna. That's what's his name? That's David Ellison's sister's company.
This is a very, very interesting part of the catalog.
Already starting with D-Day Lewis montage, showing him like, and you know that he was living every day up until they called cut in like as that designer, Lesley Manville. And remember too, like going into this, like PTA didn't have like all the love and goodwill. I don't remember when, but he got really, really sick, and he was to the point where he was bedridden, and his wife was like, you know, Maya Rudolph was taking care of him, and of course, him being Paul Thomas Anderson, was like, what if she was actually poisoning me and forcing me to be sick? That way, I would be entirely dependent on her. Reynolds.
He's bored already.
Yeah. What does that even mean?
Funniest movie.
Snudgy. Mourning my old so-and-so.
There's nothing I can say to get your attention aimed back at me.
And you never will.
Once it's gone, it's gone. No, this is his Barry Lyndon.
Yeah.
But just look how he's leaning. Like he leans away from people. He doesn't want to truly be close to people.
I don't know what it is about Europe and how they make just like wealth look so accessible. All right, there she is. Clumsy, lower class, plain. There's an interest to her, but keep it all separate so I can arrange it as I see fit.
Test. It's always a test.
All test. Is it the car test from Bronx Tale?
Oh yeah.
Car door test.
Yep.
So something else that we know PTA is way too good at this point. Very, very obviously closeted gay or gay coded main characters. She's like, is this a date or an interrogation? My little surprises. My father had died many years ago. What is the line between genius and madness and obsession? Is there any at all?
This movie asks the question, like, if you're performing constantly, what's the other side? Who's the real person? One of the most intimate non-sex scenes in any movie ever.
People wonder why people end up getting into toxic relationships. It's like, because they were the first person that saw me. Lesley Manville's a fucking beast in this. Oh my God.
You have no breasts.
Reynolds.
He likes a little belly.
Reminds me of Portrait of a Woman on Fire.
Very much so. Become the little glass ballerina.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Cyril is always right. Went from one situation where I had no control to another. The contrast with the earlier car shot. Cyril's not happy.
I'm buttering my toast. I'm not moving too much.
It's too much.
It's a distraction. It's very distracting. It's almost Emperor Palpatine-esque. A horse with a nice wood cock. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
Have to.
Go back to being the nice ballerina we got you to be. Scars on his thumb from the amount of times that he's pricked it. The origin of Vanity Fair. I'm working. Look, the cinematography is the most Terrence Malick-esque. It looks like Anna's dress from Frozen. Order. There must be order. It's like, don't worry, Reynolds. I'm here for you.
It's definitely not like manic depressive.
Oh, no, not at all.
Like a spoiled little baby.
Is this his talented Mr. Ripley?
Could be.
The tea is going out. The interruption is staying right here with me.
That's a good line. That's a really good line. Oh, guys, you should try it. It's a perfectly good snack. Vomiting 2 minutes later.
You could watch this as a silent film and understand what's going on.
Wait, I think that's what's her name, who was in Licorice Pizza, the agent. That's Harriet Sansom Harris.
Great drunk acting. Very hard to do.
Acting. The key to a good drunk performance is to pretend not to be drunk, because that's what you do when you're drunk. You pretend not to be drunk.
I pretend I'm not drunk all the time. Using it as a napkin.
Don't worry, this is only the 7th time this has happened this week.
I don't think so.
Take the fucking dress off, Barbara, and bring it to me or I'll do it myself.
What kind of ignorant shit is that to say to someone who's got the disease? Yeah, no, it was great. She gave me a blowjob and then she spit my cum back into my mouth. A cum regurgitation. Do we have enough cream in the house? It makes all the difference.
I love this scene so much.
That's the most edible asparagus has ever looked to me.
Fucking playing with his food.
Like the child that he is.
I've had this conversation with my wife.
What the hell is it about? Are you a special agent sent here to ruin my evening and possibly my entire life? As apparently it's so disagreeable to you in every respect, why don't you just fuck off to back where you came from?
Logan Roy would be proud.
I would like to think that I would be able to sense the taste of mushroom in my tea.
Reminding him who's in charge here.
Skits.
Any minute now. Oh!
Almost loving how this is going.
I don't even want to know what color that vomit is.
I'm scared of her.
Good. You should be. The fight between the two mothers. I'm very confused. Why are you both answering at the same time? Mama, is that you? It'd be really funny if the door just slammed into her.
It'd be hilarious if it was fucking Cyril.
Yeah, right? We are here today to announce the union of Mr. and Mrs. Reynolds Woodcock.
Uh-oh. He's getting annoyed again.
Shot. You should have seen my mother when she was about to pass.
She was barking constantly. Some of the looks. She's so incensed. You got to cut that and gif that.
Yes.
Mrs. Vaughn is satisfied with the dress.
No one gives a tinker's fucking curse about Mrs. Vaughn's satisfaction.
Time to bring back the mushrooms. Now he sees it in person.
Helpless. Tender. Open.
I'm Orson Welles. Man, Phantom Thread, baby. All right, so I will admit the second half, like within the rounds of poison mushrooms, I did start to tune out a little bit because like by that point I'm like, okay, I'd gotten it. And I will say, if anything, and I almost never say this about any movie, the extra bit of like her like becoming him, I'm like, okay, I feel like we got that with the whole like kiss me my love before I'm sick again. But that being said, I mean, one of his 4 undisputed masterpieces. Like, it's interesting because with Boogie Nights, that was a whole like, that movie is such like a classic like late 90s like first film, and it's such an impressive first film. But I feel like when it comes to his masterpieces, like the films that are just like impeccably tailored, like just every single detail, every single frame is just like etched from like a painting almost. It's these 3. It's Phantom Thread, it's The Master, and it's There Will Be Blood. There's a reason why I saved these 3 for last.
Yeah, I think this is his prettiest movie. And it like he just has so much control. I was talking while we were watching about how everything is basically shot inside houses and stuff like that. So that's the ultimate control in lighting. It's the ultimate control in framing everything. Like you said, every frame a picture, essentially you can just pause it and it looks fantastic wherever you're pausing it at.
And that's ultimately a theme, too, that ties all 3 of these movies together as well. Is more than any of his other films, these 3 movies are all about control. Control, what we exude over the others, what we do in order to basically function together as humans, how we are able to exude our power over others, you know? Because at the end of the day, it's kind of funny how this is the episode where we ended up dropping all the prestige TV references and quotes, but I forgot one from, one that would be remiss for memory. Obviously, given everything that happened to the show, but the first season of House of Cards, which still to me is a masterpiece, despite everything that happened with that show.
Well, do you know why that is, Dom? Is because showrunners very controlling people.
And
yes, they have rooms of writers, but they get final.
You don't get much more
every
controlling than David Fincher, too. Especially as the dude who basically invented the Netflix model. And there's one line that Kevin Spacey says in that first season that, again, is just one of those things that stuck with me when I was 15, 16 years old and saw it for the first time. Everything in life is about sex, except sex. Sex is about power. And I'm just like, that... The Tyrion line from the first episode of Game of Thrones and like a few others, just like maybe I'm like, I understand the world now. I understand how human beings function now. And this is another perfect example of that.
Yeah, there's no sex in this movie, but yet there's sex everywhere.
Yes.
Like everything in this movie is the relationship between 2 people, how they touch, how they communicate, how they live together. And that's really what it's all about. Like the sex happens, it's implied when they go into the room together, but that's it. That's all it is.
Yep.
Everything else is either Reynolds doing work, and that's very sensual to him. That's where he feels the most physically connected to the world around him. And then when he's sick and Alma's taking care of him, that's when she feels most connected, most close to him. It has nothing to do with the physical act of sex. It is all about intimacy.
Yes, exactly. Intimacy, and quite literally how our most intimate moments can be used against us, can be used for control.
Yes.
It's ultimately, again, why this might be one of the best, if not the best, at least most honest depictions of relationships that I've ever seen ultimately, where, and obviously again, it's taken to an extreme example because it is Paul Thomas Anderson and it's a film, but that idea of some level of control is always going to be necessary, you know, and especially with what's even more interesting, and this obviously, you know, I'm going to get real personal with this all honestly kind of dovetails into, you know, my own parents and ultimately the reason why they were never happy with each other, because there was always just that level of like just one person trying to assert some level of control over the other. You know, I won't get into too much specifics, but it was always there. And me as the one who always noticed it, because I'm the only emotionally conscious member of my family. I'm the worst part is I'm not even like joking in any way, shape, or form. I am. And me as the only one who noticed, it was always particularly painful for me to watch. But here it's like there's no like kind of bystander, there's no audience avatar. You are just in it. You are stuck in this kind of like, I'm not going to say parasitic or toxic, because after a certain point, like Alma knows exactly what she's in for and she knows exactly what she has to do. She could have bounced at any point. She could have just been another one of Reynolds, you know, failed, or rather another one of Reynolds' dalliances. But instead, no, she stays and she is like, I am all in on this.
And it's really about who you're willing to give control to in the end. Because you see throughout this entire movie the back and forth of control, whether it's Reynolds, whether it's Alma, who has the control. Sometimes Cyril steps in and goes, neither of you have control. Things need to happen in a particular way, and that's how they will go.
Yep.
And so when he finally does the, you know, takes the bite, kiss me before I'm sick again, that is him giving control to Alma, finally signing that contract that you had mentioned while we were watching.
Mm-hmm.
That is the contract between the two now going forward, and they've figured it out and they know how to cede control to one another.
Yes, exactly. Now, my question before we kind of wrap things up here, because I do have to get going in a little bit, is do you think we'll see another one of these types of movies from Paul Thomas Anderson? Or do you think this phase of his career is over? Because I did notice that, so this is 2017, right? And his two movies after this are Licorice Pizza and One Battle, which again, are very much more so indie kind of cool hangout, just bizarre, absurd, like insane. Like those are funny movies ultimately at the end of the day. One Battle is kind of a beast in and of itself and is probably going to mark, but like that very kind of distinct era with Inherent Vice. And I think that's part of the other reason why Inherent Vice feels like such an outlier in his filmography, not just because it's so unique and different from any of his other films and doesn't really fit into any one of the PTA sub classifications that we've come up with at this point, but because it was in between this movie and The Master, which again, if you take this movie out, the There Will Be Blood, The Master, Phantom Thread kind of forms this kind of perfect, unique micro trilogy in PTA's filmography, you know, with Inherent Vice kind of being like the ugly bastard stepchild. But do you think we'll get another movie quite like those three, or no? You think that phase of his career is done?
No, I think There Will Be Blood and Phantom Thread are special because of Daniel Day-Lewis and the amount of effort that PTA went to make sure that he was writing and shooting specifically to just enhance this incredible actor, you know, one of the greatest of all time. And in his own way, PTA is using Daniel Day-Lewis as his doll. And he gets to throw him in scenes and situations that he just knocks out of the park.
Yes.
Reynolds Woodcock is an incredible character.
Yes.
And in any other hands, I don't think it works.
Correct.
It absolutely does not. So I just, you know, if I'm projecting into the future with PTA, maybe if he finds another muse like that, but it doesn't look promising.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, the PTA and the Day-Lewis and the Joaquin Phoenix of it all as well. Because again, like what he did with The Master, and then I mean, there's a reason why he hasn't worked with him since Inherent Vice. But yeah, but very much so. Again, like there's that very kind of specific kind of characterization and filmmaking that you get with actors like that you really can't get with many others.
Well, it bums me out to no end, obviously, that Philip Seymour Hoffman passed away, right? Because I think late career, those two teaming up to just make something incredible, where he finally puts Philip in the lead chair and just kind of lets him run.
You just think about all the missed potential that we had since he died. And it's like, oh, it just makes it even more devastating.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it really is. All right. So with that being said, Phantom Thread next week, The Master. Will The Master ultimately top Phantom Thread in my rankings? We will see. This will be the third time that I have seen it. This is going to be a fun one. Like I said, next weekend is a jam-packed weekend. We got Project Hail Mary. We got Immortal Man. We're doing Shape of Things to Come, which is quite possibly the most action-packed episode of Lost ever in the show's history, outside of any of the finales. So next weekend's going to be a big weekend, to say the least. So Luke, thank you once again for joining me. I cannot thank you enough for going on this journey. It's almost done. We've only got 2 left after this.
Hey, it's flown by.
It has flown by, indeed. I could have asked for anybody else better to do it. Where can the good people follow you on the interwebs?
Check me out, Franchise Addicts everywhere. We just dropped our Thunderdome episode for Mad Max this week. And then Dama's going to be joining us next week for Fury Road.
Yes, indeed. I'm very, very excited. Very excited to get back into the wasteland. You guys can follow me with everything going on at Movie Nerd Reviews across all platforms, at Official Talking TV Podcast across all platforms. Please subscribe to us if you're watching us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify as well. All the places where you can listen to the audio platforms. And as always, people, 12 seasons in a short film. And watch more fucking movies.
Woodcock.
Woodcock.